Yo, what up, y'all? Welcome to another edition of Storytime with Relly. Trying to get this done before the day ends. So today we're going to talk about how I manifested my first motorcycle. So, I made a shift in my way of thinking back in 2008. June 8th, 2008 to be specific. I'll never forget that day. But that's another time for another story time with Relly, and I'll let y'all in on that whole situation at a later date. But at this point, I had been, I knew what I didn't believe, and I knew that, if I'm not going to believe that, then I need to figure out what do I believe. Um, and so I had got turned on to the whole manifestation thing. Um, and, I was pretty much baffled by it. I thought it was the craziest thing in the world, but, I was trial and error, seeing, what works and whatnot and how it works and stuff like that. So by this point, I had had much practice in the arts of manifestation. And so at this point, I had started my first business, which was Laugh Out Loud Printing. um, and it was a t-shirt print shop at Purdue. I had my own storefront. We printed t-shirts for people around campus and, outside areas in the region and stuff like that. So I had two partners, and one of my partners, my guy Lance, was from Tipton, Indiana. And he had this red motorcycle. I think it was a Yamaha joint, you know what I'm saying? And I had always been fascinated with motorcycles since I was a kid. My older cousin Carlo had one, and I just thought it was the coolest shit in the world, like most kids do. Um, and so one day we're at the shop, boom, Lance pulls up with his motorcycle. And I'm just like in awe, like, damn, it's the coolest shit ever. It's bright red, it's all, pretty, and he had just got it washed, so it's shining up and shit. So it had been out there all day, and we just in the shop working and shit like that. And it dawned on me, like, I'm in this new realm of manifestation type shit. So I'm like, from what I believe and what I know is I need to create the visualization, but I need to make it real. You know what I'm saying? I hadn't got hip to, like, I knew about the law of attraction at that time, but I wasn't hip to the full way that the law of resonance worked yet. But I knew that I had to create a visualization I needed to make it real to me. So I'm sitting there in the shop, and I asked Lance, I'm like, hey, bro, I'm like, do you mind if I take a picture with your bike? And he's like, yeah, man, go ahead. I'm like, nah, bro. I'm like, can I sit on it? Like, well, pause, no diddy. But I'm saying, can I sit on your bike type shit? And I like, and hold the bike up. I had never sat on a motorcycle other than the one time my cousin took me on a ride from my house to his house around the corner when I was like 8. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, from what I know about manifestation is I need to have it look real, like not just seeing it in my mind, but I need to make it as real as possible to me. So I need to make it to where I feel the handlebars in my hand. I need to see what it looks like from the point of view of sitting on a motorcycle as a rider, not just as a passenger. So I'm like, yeah, bro. I'm like, can I, sit on your bike and hold it up myself? You know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah, bro, go ahead, type shit. So boom, he lets me, I go outside and I'm like, hey man, I was like, would you mind taking a picture of this? Because I'm like, I need the visualization, not just from my point of view, but I need something to go look back at that's tangible later on so that I can see that it's real to me. And so he's like, I don't mind. Bam, snaps the picture. Um, Bro, and what's crazy about this is documented because if you painstakingly go through my many posts on my Instagram, you'll see that picture on there. And the date was May 3rd, 2012, right? And so after I took that picture, I'm sitting there, I'm looking at it over and over, but I remember when I was sitting on the bike, I remember I kept looking like straight ahead, you know what I'm saying? So I could see, okay, boom, this is what it looks like to be a rider on a motorcycle. But at the same time, I'm like feeling the handlebars. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gripping them. I'm revving the throttle type shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm squeezing the brakes. I'm like visualizing. I close my eyes over and over and I open them. Like, this is what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? I do it again, close my eyes, I open them. I'm like, okay, boom. Remember this thought. Remember this feeling type shit. You know what I'm saying? At that time, I did not have bread like that. I had no idea of where to even search for a bike. I'd never ridden one. I've never driven one. I don't even know how the mechanics of a bike work at that point. You know what I'm saying? And so I just visually took it in. I internalized that feeling. And next thing you know, I'm like, okay, now that I know that this is real and I can feel it, now I need to make it real. Bro, I shit you not. It's also documented. If you look on my Instagram, I believe the next date on there was June 18th, 2012. Or I think it was June 18th, 2012. So a little over a month later, I'm sitting on a silver motorcycle, and that was my first bike. It took me just a little over a month to manifest my first motorcycle from the first time I'd ever sat on one. And I've been a rider ever since, bro. So story time with Relly, but I'm bringing you that to say, hey, if you can see it, you can think it, you can visualize it and make it real to you, use the law of attraction and the law of resonance, and you will make it real. Hope y'all enjoyed this story. Peace.